Hey guys. Here we are, starting a new thing, a new segment called Let's Build. This is a multi-part thing, and I'm not going to bore you to death and sit here for like 4 hours in a row. Oh my god. To help you, guide you by the hand or the pussy or the balls or whatever, by the pubes. Unless you're like me, you keep that shit trimmed. To help you build a deck. We're going to do it step by step. Whatever it takes, wherever we're going, we'll get there. And by the end of all this, you'll know exactly what to do. At least for this kind of deck. There's numerous different ways to build a deck, and this one we're going to go with. I'm just going to make sure that everything's going good. Everything's good. Yep. I'm just making sure, because it minimizes my thing, but I don't need it minimized because I have two screens. Okay, so as you can see, I have Archideckting. This site is great for helping you build anything. You can do standard, you can set to private, you can help with theory craft, you put it up and other people can see. You can actually cut your deck information out of this and send it to I think Card Kingdom, or you can export it to a text file, and then you could put in the names in various different sites where you want to buy the single cards. This site is so fucking good. I'm actually considering donating money to it. I don't normally do that, but anyways, this site's great. We're going to go through it. A lot of other sites too. All the sites will be linked in the description. Do not worry. Do not have your panties in a bunch unless that's what you like. And I can imagine if a woman is sitting on a chair with her panties in a bunch in the right spot, it makes for an interesting day at the office. Okay, so, Commander. What is even Commander? Commander is a new format, or a different format from Standard. Standard sucks. I hate it. Hate Standard. What's the one thing everybody who plays Magic said? I used to play Magic. Then I stopped. And then eventually I got back into it. You know why we stopped? Because the format sucked. We got hit in the dick by some asshole with some shit-ass deck. Or we got bored of cracking pack after pack after pack with the same fucking card. Discard a card. Counter target spell. Lose a life. Counter target spell. Keep your virginity. Counter target spell. Thank you so much. No. So Commander is a breast of fresh ass. As far as this game's concerned, it wasn't even made by Wizards of the Coast. It was made by a dude named Adam Staley. Or Jesus Lopez. There's some kind of debate. But anyways, it was eventually popularized by Sheldon Menery. Sheldon. It's like almost like autism is stuck to that name. Sheldon. Except for this one guy I went to high school with named Sheldon. He was a meathead. Holy crap, was I afraid of that guy. Incredibly homophobic. But it was the 90s. Okay. So, Elder Dragon, what is even that? Well, or Commander is called EDH, better known as Elder Dragon Highlander. So what is this Elder Dragon? Well, in 1994, there was a set called Legends that was released, and it had 5 Elder Dragons in it. And they all had 7/7 for their power and toughness, and a bunch of other gobbledygook in between. They were called, and if you are upset with how I pronounce it, I live in Canada, come find me, and you can suck my dick. Arcade, or Arcades Sabbath, Chromium, Nicol Bolas, or Bolas, Palladia Moors, and Vistis, Basmati Rice. It's not true, but whatever. I'm going to flash them on the screen in editing. And they are 7/7. The 7/7 is important because the commander damage that you take to die, and I'll explain that in a minute, is 21, which is 3 solid hits from the commander. I got most of this information from a YouTuber or a YouTube channel named In It to Win It. And that's about the only source it's going to get. I'm not putting a link in the description. It's a 3-minute video. The Highlander part of EDH is based off that movie with Christopher Lambert and Sean Connery and Clancy Brown. Clancy Brown, you might know him better as the voice of Mr. Krabs. But he was actually an actor in a lot of movies or TV shows. He was in The Flash. He's in Shawshank Redemption. and Highlander as Kurgan. So Highlander means there could be only one, because there can only be only one Highlander. So you can only have one instance of a card. So you can't have some dipshit hitting you with 3 of the same kind of card. It's just a big dick move. And you know damn well that the only reason this dude has 3 of this because he bought that card specifically. I used to hate that. Play against the dude, I'm like, what the hell? Like back in the 90s before there was internet and net building. Now, here's a note, and I have it for later, but I'm going to say it now. You do not require an encyclopedia knowledge of all Magic cards. Fuck that noise. If you have a life, like a job, or a job in a relationship, or a job relationship children, or a job relationship children and animals, or a job relationship children, animals, and your parents, or a job relationship children, animals, your parents, and in-laws, you don't have time for memorizing all this shit. And if you're into other things, like Warhammer, or Lorcana, or comic books, or manga, or any other bunch of other video games, you don't have time for all this nonsense. It's not like you're going to get a blowjob for any of this information. Net decking is not something that's embarrassing. You're going to have to do it. It's the only way to do it. Yeah, it feels like you're not really building your own deck, but at the same time, you're coming up with kind of like your own way to do the thing that is going to do. Other people will have a better idea and think, well, this card's actually better, and they push up their glasses, and then their glasses shine and stuff, and you're like, oh, that guy's obviously a bad guy in someone else's show. Anyways. So that is the note. We are going to net deck. That is the way it goes. But we're going to break everything down piece by piece, slowly, so that everybody gets it. And there's obviously a thing that everybody can do. For every deck, it's always these things, and we're going to start with that this video. So now that we've finished saying what EDH or Commander is, here are the first things you need to know outside of that before we even touch a card. Their rules, because I miswrote it. It says their instead of the rules. So I'm like, their rules. It's like the Bears. If you're old enough to know, you know. So it's traditional Magic rules apply. You tap land, you bring in monsters or spells, and you try to do your best to keep alive and make other people's unalive. This time, instead of 20 life points, you and 3 other people have 40 life points. However, it takes 21 commander damage to end your life for the game. In the game. Not in real life, just the game life. What does that mean? You mean if 3 people hit me with a commander of 7/7, I'll be dead? No, that's actually incorrect. So I'm going to explain to you a scenario, and then you could probably better understand this way. And I'm going to have some edited pictures thrown in around now to show you specifically. First, we got, where is it? For example, my commander hits player 2 for 7. Right? So I managed to strike, I get through, he's not blocking, 7 commander damage to his naked face. Then player 3 takes my commander with the spell like Sibling Rivalry and hits player 2 with my commander and swings with his own commander. So he swings with my commander for 7 and then swings with his own commander for 3. Player 2's commander damage total at this point is 14 damage from my commander and 3 damage from player 3's commander. Each commander has to deal, or a commander has to deal 21 damage. So when you take track or keep track of the points distribution, if you use Life Elk like I do on my phone, there's a spot to track commander damage, and it's on your screen to see who you hit with your commander for how many points. And when your commander deals 21 damage to a specific person, he's dead. So it doesn't count like player 3 swung for 10 commander damage. He did, but not from one commander. 7 from mine, and he already hit for 7, so it's 14. And then 3 from his own, which at this point this guy took 17 damage to the face, which is not a good way to start, but shit like that happens. So the commander damage is calculated that way. If you're still confused, put a comment in the comments section, and I will be sure that somebody with glasses, acne, and a virgin penis will be able to tell you better than me. When your commander dies, oh yeah, so the commander is always available to summon at any point. It's in the commander zone. People have different ways of putting the commander. They put it on the right of their deck, the left of their deck, in front of their deck, slightly askewed, hanging out of their deck, whatever, somewhere nearby that people can sort of see. And you can call it in at any time, provided you have the land. However, when that fucker dies, it goes out back to the commander zone, which is great, right? Even if it's exiled, back to the commander zone. But it's going to cost you 2 more mana, or 2 colorless mana extra every time he has to go back there. So if that guy's killed 4 times, that's 8 extra mana just to bring him in before you have to pay his cost, which is a bitch. A bitch for that guy. Don't be that guy. So that is Commander Tax. Alright, so let's start. Finally, we're going to see some cards. So sort of. When you start, you need to pick a commander. A commander has to be a legendary creature. There's no way around it. It has to be a legendary creature. That's fine. There's tons of legendary creatures all over the place. Also, it could have something written in the text, and I'm going to flash that up on the screen, saying partners, which means you can have more than one commander. Oh, pretty swank, right? Also, here's a question. Could you have the same commander twice? I mean, I guess not, because unless it says you can have more than one. No, you can only have one. Try to keep it simple. Don't try to complicate things. All right. There's also something called a background. Could be a commander partner, or what was it written? Choose a background as a commander. I just learned this one looking for commanders and partners. So you can have a card that says choose a background, and I'll flash one up. An enchantment background. And there are enchantment backgrounds. There's also legendary creature enchantment backgrounds. And you can have that as a partner as well. And that's pretty swank. You can actually have an enchantment as part of your commander partner. I'm actually going to look that up and see if I can change something in another deck. So partners is cool. The background thing is cool. Planeswalkers. If you're not familiar with these cards, I'm going to flash one up now. These things are friggin' weird and annoying and cool and stupid all at the same time. When you get one in your hand, you got a huge erection. When someone else gets one, your butt hurts and you don't know why. It's the AIDS of AIDS. AIDS in your mouth, AIDS on your ass. It's just AIDS everywhere. But a Planeswalker could also be a commander, provided it says it could be a commander on the card. If it doesn't say that, it cannot be a commander. That's it for the commanders. Now you can choose whichever commander you want, and you can be creative. You can fall in love with a card and be like, cool, now my test is how the fuck am I going to build a deck with this shit? So I asked my son, since this deck is for him, I already made it before you guys go like, wow, this guy's really efficient. No, I'm not. I already made it. It's up on this screen on this side, just to make sure that I don't make mistakes and I carry around like I'm supposed to. And I don't forget something, and it's easier to have it on screen than it is on a note. I'm not going to keep printing out papers for my so-called script. All right. When you pick a commander, you understand that the colors on the commander are part of, are the only cards you can have in the game. I forget what it's called, and Alright, it's called color identity. Alright? So the color identity is not just necessarily the card cost. Any mana picture on the card of your commander is what could be considered your color identity. So, I'm going to give you 2 examples. I'm going to show you this one. I'll show you the other one first, because I guess that would be easier. So this one is a green and something, but as you can see, all colors are in the text. Here we go. This is actually the commander in the new Secret Lair drop that's dropping in 3 days. I got an email from it about it yesterday. Not that excited about it, but what are you going to do? Coffee. Sorry about that part. I'll do my best to keep that to a minimum. But yeah, so that could be as all the colors go in your deck if you want. Or you have this one where there's just the cost and that's it. And then that's what we're going to use. So we go to Archideckting. Here we are. It says give your deck a name. As you see, the Dead Mayo. Yep, that's just the handle I use everywhere. Yeah, so if you were on PSN and you see Dead Mayo, that's probably me. Why is it Dead Mayo? Well, that's a story for another time, isn't it? So we're going to call it Kids Copy of Thing I Did. All right, format, Commander, private. Game type, paper. Commander zone. Here, now we write the name of the card. Blaster. And you see Blaster Hulk. Nope. Wow. Not even here. Combat DJ. Here we go. That was bullshit. Should have been there. Blaster Combat DJ. Blaster Morale Booster. Pew. Now you click on this green button that says Create Deck. And then insert Transformer Noise, which I actually have, so I'll probably put it in. And just like that, we have our commander. Double click, and you can see all the different things. If you want the normal one, or you get the alternate art, whichever you prefer. You flip the card, it shows you something different. All right. Also in this site, you can see rulings. And you can see all the things in case there's any. See, there's a lot. Because More Than Meets the Eye is very, very new at the time and is complicated. And we'll get through it. Don't worry about it. I do like this version, but he looks like a bad guy. So, and it's not the version I have. This is the version I have. I had this toy when I was a kid. I had Blaster. Did not come with little cassette men's. Or if he did, then my mom threw out the box and left them in there. What do you call it? There was a greasy spoon diner named Robo 2000. Okay, I live in Quebec, so we have rules about the name of the place. It has to be a French name unless it's a franchise. Legault, piece of shit, wants to pass a law where all the franchise names, like Walmart, is going to have a French description on top of the store in case people are not sure what Walmart is after all these years. I'm not going to get into that, but anyways, Robo 2000 had Blaster as the mascot of the restaurant, and his picture up on a big sign in the front, and there was a toy inside hanging at the cash register. It was really cool. It's like a greasy spoon, like burgers, hot dogs, steamies, poutine. And it's poutine, not poutine. Now that we're done with that nonsense. You can see that it has More Than Meets the Eye. And a bunch of writing about Modular 1. And you flip them over, and then you move counters, and he's got Modular 3. And we're going to get all into that and what that means, but not yet. Not yet, because we have to do the first things we got to do. Now I'm going to quickly open up the other one so I can see what it is I'm doing to make sure I don't miss anything. But we're going to start off with removals. Now, what's a removal? Well, all of your commander decks should have a removal. You should be able to erase what has been happened in case some bullshit, some asshole with angels and token creatures and all that shit, and he's just got the board with like 100 angels, and you're like, fuck this asshole, right in the goat ass. So you need to do a Star of Extinction or some kind of other board wipe. So what I like to do, I search all board wipes here from Moxfield, from Jesus. He didn't say Jesus. I'm not Puerto Rican. He said, "Hey Zeus." Zeus, like Father Apollo. I messed that on up. Anyways, here are all the board wipes. Personally, my favorite is this one, Fumigate, where it's destroy all creatures, and you gain 1 life for each creature destroyed that way. Ha 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 ha! Awesome. The first pre-release I ever bought was Ixalan, Lost Caverns of Ixalan, and I don't even like that set. However, I did get something really cool in one of them packs. And thank God it's in alphabetical order, because then I could just roll to it. And it is, there we go, Star of Extinction. Destroy target land, which is an extra bonus. Star of Extinction does 20 damage to each creature and each planeswalker. So we're going to add Star of Extinction, as that is part of our color identity. So you write Star of, there we go. Boom. And you see it classifies it. Removal. Booyah. And if you check here, it says Salt Sum. Each card has a salt level. It'll be in, I think, card info. Yeah. So there you go. Some are better than others in terms of saltiness. This is how bad their butthurt is going to be. Now, green doesn't have a whole lot in terms of, what do you call it, removal, in terms of board wipe, right? Look for green. So here we go. Like, it's usually something really annoying, like X damage to target creature. And then, yeah. Oh, yeah, that's right. And then you channel X to do each creature with flying. So, yeah, or enchantments. So it kind of sucks, but we got something here. Let's see if it's under T or G. T, which is dumb, but the Great Aura. Each player shuffles all cards from his or her hand and all permanents he or she owns into the library. Then draw that many cards. Each player may put any number of lands from his or her hand into the battlefield. Exile this card. So I put that in. So we're going to put that one. The Great Aura. Aurora. Boop. Now I'm not going to do this for every card, but I'm going to put in another one. And this one's from Doctor Who. And if you're a Matt Hardy fan, you'll like this one, because it's called Delete. And yeah, I'm going to put that in right now. Delete. Deals X damage to each non-artifact creature. Oh, well that's fucking handy, isn't it? Because we're going to have a whole thing of artifact creatures. All right. I'm just checking to see if I have any, like, board wipe removals. No, the rest are just regular something else removals. And we'll get to that as we continue on, because I didn't put those in right away. 3, essentially, board wipes. And this Delete is the best one thus far, because every creature that's non-artifact, which is almost none of your creatures, is dead. Unless it says, I think this won't work for indestructible. It has to be exiled. Or you do a minus its health. And then it dies from 0 base, whatever. Okay. After you got the removals, because that's the easiest one, I like to put in these 3. You don't have to all the time, but I put these 3 in. Mine Worker. Tower Worker. And not Foundry, Inspector, Mine Worker, Tower Worker. I always have these ones like power plant worker. Oh, the reason I do that is because this is going to be an artifact deck, but like, and I swear I got each one of these in one pack of Brothers War. I couldn't believe it. So this one taps for a mana, so this is under ramp. We're good, we're 1 in. However, if you have the other two, you put 3 colorless mana. This one you gain life, 1. If you control creature named Power Plant Worker, and another one, you get 3 life. Here, this thing gets +2/+2 till end of turn. However, if I get the other ones, I get to put 2/1/1 counters on this. So yeah, this is super handy. We are having an artifact deck, but now we're going to do the next part, which is ramp. Ramp is pretty standard for all decks. If ever you want to see, you could just get a precon and check it out. You'll get all these ones in it. So we're going to go real quick. Well, the basics. I have to write it. Oh, I do. Boom. Soul Ring. Cost 1, and you get to tap it for 2. And you get to use it right away. So that creature doesn't have summoning sickness. The creatures that tap, they have summoning sickness, so you can't use them right away. Arcane Signet. Add 1 mana of any color in your commander's color identity. Super handy if you don't have everything you need. And then, because we're Gruul, red and green, we're going to have the Gruul Signet. Boop. I like to put this one in. Palladium Mirror. Tap for 2. Decanter of Endless Water. You have no maximum hand size. Very important, because the various things you want to do is you have your removal, you have your ramps, and then you have either recursion or to help you draw. Because you don't want to sit there and be top decking. You need to have cards coming in. Now this idea only came to me after I created this, so maybe there won't be any drawing, and we'll fix it in the future. But having no maximum hand size is very handy. Plus, it's a mana of any color, so that's always helpful. Then Foundry. Spectre. Artifact spells cost 1 less. Oh yeah, so I'll get into this. Ramp. What is ramp? Ramp is a way to get you more lands or more mana for each turn. So that comes in 3 ways. 1, you bring in a land, and then you bring in an artifact that does the thing. Or you use a spell that makes you have put more than 1 land in per turn, or fetch a land and put it in tapped. And then 3 is it reduces the cost of your spells. That is considered ramp, because now I have Arcane Signet adds an extra mana, and now Foundry Inspector reduces the cost of other artifact spells. And since this is going to be an artifact deck, booyakasha. Okay. So I'm just going to go quickly with the rest of the ramp. Make sure I got the same ones in. This one I'm putting in, it's not for ramp specifically, A survival I like. At the beginning of my second main, or if you know what survival, you may put a permanent card from your hand into the battlefield. So say I got like some super expensive asshole or whatever. Boom, I can put him in. I don't have to pay its ridiculous cost. And if I have a vehicle, which I have a few of, I can use this thing to crew the vehicle. And having 4 is definitely handy. Now, again, it's not because I know all these things. I have them done already. Add that. Add 1 mana of any color. So, if you're looking for, like, ramp, you can go to here and put add mana. So, this is the advanced search. In the text, you want to add mana. I don't click these on. I just go with it. And then I sort by color. And I scroll down until I find the color I am looking for. Look at that, Jetfire. Oh, you can't jump too, but that's fine. Alright, so red. So you go through this, right? Okay, whenever you cast a spell, add 1. Alright, that's cool. Add that, add 1. Okay, not bad. A planeswalker. Tap, add that. This mana can only be used on an elemental spell. Or the planeswalker, Chandra, which we saw before. But green has, or this one, right? But green's got the best kind of ramps for this kind of stuff. Right? Add 1 mana of any color. Add X mana of one color, where X is the amount of life you gain this turn. You put this with a food token thing. You sacrifice a food token, however, that costs you 2. But if you reduce your spells for artifacts, it costs you 1. And then boom. Add 1 mana of any color. Add X mana. Add mana. You know. Okay, cool. You could go, or if you want it like specific, I don't go back, don't press back, always go and click on advance again, right, in the text, add mana, and then you could choose the type. So you want it to be a land. Search with these options. Okay, so you get maybe some dual lands or fetch lands or maybe some specialty lands. I don't know what you want, but if you want land specific, you can go, from Kamigawa, right? So I'm not just like putting this in and like, this is how we do it. No, I looked at what I need. I need ramp. What are my ramp things I need? I need green ramp. I need red ramp. Okay, what else could I use? Okay, well, Commander Tower helps. This other stuff. Some of these are from, I took apart a commander deck so I can get some of the angels for my pingers deck, and then I use the rest of the stuff for this deck. So this I'm going Solemn Simulacrum. Cost 4, 2/2 artifact golem. This creature enters. You may search your library for basic land, put the card into battlefield, tap, shuffle. Green has a few cards like that. I don't know why I didn't put any in, but it's like 2 lands come in, and they're both tapped. That's another card you can use. This is good for removal right now. This is good for ramp. Now, you need to do lands. Lands, they are something else, right? You have 2 colors. You have 99 cards and a commander. What is the land ratio? You can't use the standard one. It's just too big and you'll be fudged royally. I usually have anywhere between 36 and 40 lands in a deck like this, or a commander deck. This one specifically I don't. I have Boop, 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 boom. Where the hell sickles are my lands? Oh, there we go. 38. 38 lands. And then check out the top. It tells you how much each group costs. How sweet is that? So for lands, now what you want to do is check out all the double lands you can possibly check. Dual lands are going to help you the most, as they are they come in and you can do things with. Now, shock lands are cool. You can add one of those if you'd like. Anyway, so dual lands. So this is at managathering.com. I'll have the link in the description. I'll be like dual lands. So you choose your color. We are Gruul. Boom. So don't worry about standard. All these lands are fucking available. Jesus. So read what it says, right? Add this, but only if you have a Fore mounted. This one you kind of want to have. However, if I'm not mistaken, I think this one's pretty expensive. Thorn, is that what I have? I don't think I have it. I have Bristling Backwoods, which is this one. When it comes in, it deals 1 damage to opponent. I mean, okay. I also have Cinderglade. Trying to find that one. Huh. Cinderglade, I don't even see it. Maybe I saw it. Yeah, this is basic. Comes in tapped. Does 1 damage to you. If you want it, it's colorless or does 1 damage to you. Do you really want that? That seems shitty. And since you have a lot to choose from, like, what's the big deal? So you go here and you check the things you want. This is from Duskmorn, where if a player has 13 or less life, it comes in, not tap, but fuck, how long is that going to take? And will that matter at that point? 1 damage to any target. Add this. When enters the battlefield, tap. When it just enters, you can survey. This one's probably most expensive. But let's add our dual lands. All right. If ever you put in a card that's illegal for your deck, so if I go Copper Line Gorge again, it'll say Copper Line is already in your deck. If you put something that's like if I put in Mana Crypt, you'll notice that it is red. Oh, why is it red? Because, fuckface, it is not legal in standard, and salty levels are pretty fucking high. So not legal in standard and commander. Actually, it's only legal in 1v1 commander. Alright, so just minus that, it's gone. Anytime you add something, it'll be saved automatically. You don't have to worry about Control S every time you do something. Alright, with that done, we do Forest. Boom. And then mountain. Bam. Okay, cool. So all right. So far, so good. Look at what we got so far. We have 54 cards, and we did the basic stuff. See how fast that picks up? Now, the land, the ramp, and the removal could be tweaked to get a better understanding of how this stuff is going to work. If you scroll down, you'll see your mana cost versus your mana production. Right? So it's pretty even for the moment. Not too much with the red there, but and in here you have your mana curve. Geez, what the hell do I have that's 8+? Oh, yeah. That's fine. For what it does, it's totally worth it. And look, it has your different removal, the land, right? We're not done. This is just where we are now. We're going to stop for today. That's good enough for now. What we're going to do next will be, we're going to look at the commander and discuss more of what it's capable of doing. More than meets the eye, what's modular, how did I go about building the rest of the deck? What did I decide? How did I decide? Well, reading the card actually helped. And you can see its flip formation. Having to read this one over and over and over again, and then checking the rulings, and then making sure I got everything. Another feature I want to talk about for this thing is the Playtester. I won't do it with this, but I'll take one of my other ones. This one is my totally illegal Infinity Commander deck. See? Errors. You click on it. This card is not legal for this format. I don't care. I have friends that are gonna... So what you can do is Playtester. Boop. Mulligan. Oh, that's even worse. Even worse. Alright, we'll do that again. Boop. Perfect. We'll keep this one. We'll throw a card. Alright. So now you got your thing. Draw a card. Alright. Oh, look, I got it back. Let's put it at the bottom. Move to bottom of the library. Draw a card for turn. Alright. We put in planes. Then you go to more. New turn. Okay, cool. We got this going. Can't do too much. Also, your commander zone is here. 2 lands out. Doesn't look like anything's going to happen. Yet. New turn. Alright, we can start fucking shit up. Now, because we're stuck in a little bit of a schmutz, we're going to make life a living hell for everybody else by Ghostly Prison. Nobody can attack me unless they pay 2 mana for each creature they want to attack with. That'll keep him at bay for a bit while we build some shit up. New turn. New land. Tap 3 and tap me. Here we go. This is cool because I can tap for a mana and then I also get a ticket if I want to tap for a ticket. Very handy. It's just an artifact, which means I can use it now. If I don't have enough mana to do it, that's fine. This is ramp. New turn. Alright. Now, we could, guess, bring this mofo in. Oh, like a tower worker. Should we ramp or building a creature? I guess we'll bring in a creature. Even if someone could attack, they have to pay 2 mana and do damage right away. So let's bring in a creature. 1, 2, 3, 4. Boom. 3/2 flying. We check the details. When enters the battlefield, I get a ticket, and I can put a sticker on a non-land permanent I own. So I'm going to put a hat on this thing. Oh, no, it already has a hat. So I'm going to put a sticker on... No, I'm just going to put an art sticker on it. It already has a hat, so it's fine. New thing. Okay. Now, if you're wondering about my commander... I may choose not to untap this card. Whenever it becomes untapped, remove all pause counters. Tap 2 and tap this card and choose an until end of turn or this turn effect, and as long as this card's tapped, the effect does not end. In layman's terms, if I have something like Hold the Line, which I do, Hold the Line. Blocking creatures get +7/+7 till end of turn. Cool. I have that in the field. I tap my commander, pay 2, and Hold the Line stays in effect. So every creature I have that blocked gets a +7/+7 forever. Every turn I increase a pause counter on this thing, I take 1 damage for each pause counter on it during my upkeep. Sucks, but it's actually a really cool strategy thing. And we're going to stop there. And the next part will be more of a pick apart the commander and decide what's the next step. So thank you all, and peace off.